Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, let's see. It's about 40. It is certainly overcast. There's no real wind. And it's kind of a cutting cold today. So that's for the Jefferson Report. And the atmosphere apparently is light today, which is the corresponding effect you would think you'd get when you have kind of cloudiness and wetness and coolness. So there we are. That's today. If you've been following the assault in Jordan, and they claim by agents of Iran, and I don't know that they've proven that, but apparently one of the reasons we're in Jordan and Syria and Iraq is because we want to be in a position to resist Iran. And if Trump had not messed around with our treaty, we might be in a better position right now than to have this evolving war get broader when it might be avoidable now. And Trump and the Republicans are beating up Biden, and they want him to attack Iran. Now there's a smart idea, don't you think? If you'll allow me some leeway here, I don't know if I've ever said this before in one of our walk and talks, but I have a special index for situations like this, and you can adopt this and use it yourself. I consider this a PG-13 segment. It is my index of assholicity. And it goes like this. One of me and say 12 who are, shall we say, not the smartest people around doing some pretty dumb things. Maybe I can make a difference if the ratio is 1 to 12. But as the denominator gets bigger, the index of assholicity approaches 0 before infinity. And you might just as well go throw pots. Now, the beauty of this index is if I am joined by, I don't know, say 50,000 people, then the index has more of a chance. And so this is my proposition for many circumstances. Jordan, for sure. The election, another. The court, we could go on. It's the issues of the day that we talk about. So you are welcome to share this with your friends or to taunt me for mentioning it at all. But the index of assholicity is the scientific measure by which we decide if our civilization has a chance to succeed. Now, there's some good news from my perspective, and I think most of yours who are listening and sending me notes afterwards or during, is that the judge in New York will be deciding whether or not $370 million is an appropriate amount of funds for Trump to pay over, and whether or not his businesses may continue to exist. I think that's kind of sweet, don't you? There's another thing that is fairly complicated, and it's about how we deal with resources and how we deal with our ecosystem, and it's best illustrated by the farmers protesting in Marseille. I'm thinking of Marseille, but what I really mean is around Paris. The farmers have surrounded Paris with their trucks and so forth to protest the fact that they're not being paid enough and that the subsidies are being reduced and issues like that. And the government is coming back and saying, we want you to justify your subsidies, meaning you have to improve what you're doing. So it's kind of a standoff, but it has to do with what does farming mean? Are we underwriting it without a return? Now, this is an issue for farmers all around the world, and the objection is always that you're taking business from us if we don't get a favored subsidy, say, in America or in France or wherever. So there are a bunch of stories about what's happening in Paris, and it'll be an interesting thing to watch going as we go along. But basically, we want more money. That's what the farmers are saying. And the government is saying earn the subsidies, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. We, in the category of my index, that's my shorthand, so you know what I'm talking about. In the category of the index, we have in the Middle East the question about how do we stop shooting each other while perhaps we deal with the hostages and give, quote, peace or agreements or non-hostilities a chance. And our Secretary of State earlier had found that a ceasefire language, that really drove everybody crazy, including our own former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, which surprises me, but I think that's where we should be, and that's where Biden was at least a couple of days. And so the idea is, instead of calling it a ceasefire, we call it a pause. It's a pause, the pause that refreshes and may offer an avenue to some sort of peace. So that's one of the things going on. Now, in the category of strange but true elections, Nevada has a very, very strange set of ways of choosing its delegates, okay? It has both a primary and a caucus. The legislature decided a primary made more sense. And so what Nevada said was, so you have to sign up for the primary if you want to be considered. Okay, so let's assume there are only two candidates for the Republican presidential ticket, and the Nikki Haley signed up for the primary. She's the only one who signed up for the primary, so she's going to win the primary. But the party in Nevada didn't like fair, so it's going to have caucuses, and whoever wins the caucus gets their delegates. And the only person signed up for that is Trump. If this doesn't sound like democracy, there's nothing wrong with your head. That we could have in America something so stupid and unfair and contradictory with these bizarre results, we're on the wrong track. So again, the index. Can we improve on this? I don't know. I mean, somehow or other, this is what's happening in Nevada. So I assume, and maybe we'll know it by the numbers, who attends. So if Haley gets a strong number without opposition, showing that the people get it, then they're a big numerator in the index of da-da-da. And if Trump wins with 25 votes statewide, I'm exaggerating, that would tell us something about the value of the caucus, wouldn't it? Let's see, what other good news is there? Well, there's haunting news. Willis has to file her response. She's the DA in Georgia, in Fulton County, who's handling the RICO prosecution against Trump and his acolytes, who are named as defendants. And the trouble with that is, well, a couple of things. One is, if a judge should find, and we don't think they will, that she has to move out of the case, well, then that's a problem. The second thing, which I'm sure will be part of the ideas that Trump and others have to duck this prosecution in some way or other, is that Willis is up for re-election this year. So there'll be a campaign. Now, having said that, if she should finish the trial before she wins or loses the campaign, and she should win the motion seeking to kick her out of the case and she remains, then she wins. So that's my That's my reaction to that situation. That's where I think we are. And then those who are pulling for, what does he say his name? Murdoch. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's not spelled that way. He was seeking a new trial based on some statements that the jury may have overheard, and the decision was that it didn't change their mind at all, and so there'll be no new trial. So increasingly, we have to bring to the forefront our reason and our commitment to restoring the Republic and preserving a society of laws, not of threats, coercion, and lies. And so, although I'm having some fun with my index, I'm really not, because it says something's not working in America, and we have to work toward getting America back on track, because we're all in this together, including the people that will fight against us to the end, because they're in the denominator. And our objective is to be the majority, to do what's right, and to push our elected officials to have some backbone. In that category comes to mind that I understood Garland, our Attorney General, at least that's the title he has, he went into the operation, he went in for an operation, and I thought it was a spine transplant, that they were going to give him one. But it turns out that, well, it was back surgery. It sounds like it was for a suppressed disc. So I don't know how it would be suppressed if he's not using his backbone. He's not using his spine. So those are my remarks. I hope I didn't offend anybody by my cheeky review of what it means in a numbers sense, a digital evaluation of how we should go forward and when we're likely to succeed. So I say hello to you from my cathedral of trees, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.